Hey Hunters, HaloZoo here with a very special video. We're going to be talking about the Diablo 3 or 4 beta. Yeah, so I've played a bunch on the Rogue, and also the Druid actually. Got him to 16. Sorcerer to 10, Necromancer to 9. Barbarian, I just did the intro so far. But I've played this a bunch, and I gotta say, first off, I love this game already. I cannot wait for it to release. But it's been such a treat to play this. But I do have to say there's a bunch of problems, like just how overpowered Necromancer and Druid are, especially starting off. So yeah, it's really crazy. And I have to say, like, Barbarian and Sorcerer, and Rogue too, actually. Sorcerer has some overpowered stuff, but I think ultimately Sorcerer is, it could be better, but it's not too overpowered, especially compared to Necromancer, which is absurdly powerful going around. But we're going to show that off a bit more by making new characters and showing you basically just the intro dungeon. So we're going to go through that and stop with each class. So we're going to make 5 new characters. And we're going to start off with Barbarian. So this is the class that has the most trouble. I'm going to use... we're just going to randomize. Agalan. We're going to go this mode. I've been playing on easy, but oh well.
Sanctuary was never meant for humankind.
I will say, the story's great.
It was forged as a refuge from the war.
But this is more about the game itself, not the story. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but also, quick note, this is not how the game is actually played. It's because I have the reputation here that it's unlocked on all characters, so you get XP, but I've got the renown for the 2 extra skill points, which is going to be useful. So let us go. I think most of these are 30%. Except this one. These 2 aren't. But that one gets extra attack speed. This is 2 weapons. We're going to go with Frenzy. This isn't the ability I use. Normally I use Flay, but I want to see how this works. But I haven't played with all the skills, mostly because it is not easy to play with them all. So I do know that the others don't really AoE, which is actually the first problem I'm going to bring up, where I like the gameplay for the most part. I just feel like part of the big unbalance is specifically with skills and in their AoE. Like, Druid Necromancers, I will give a quick spoiler that, yeah, they have some AoE on their basics, and it's really good. Which doesn't even make sense for Necromancer. Like, of all people to give AoE basic, or I should say innate AoE basic, Necromancer's the bottom of the list for me. But that's mostly just because it's like, okay, you've got your minions, and you start with minions too. Let's not forget that. So why the heck are you the one who gets such a powerful basic attack? I think there's technically some that do better, but it's just like, in a game where AoE fights are a big thing, it's kind of important to have AoE.
Careful. He's a wild one.
And especially on Barbarian. Like, I think Barbarian should have it where they're, like, they have the best basic attacks just because they use them so much. Druid should probably be second best just because they also needed a bit more. Necromancer, I think, should get nerfed to where they have the worst compared to everyone else, but go with Rend this time around. Whirlwind, I'm not a fan of. I'll be honest. Barbarian also has another unusual problem in that with their arsenal, I'm not a fan of how they're so you have bladed weapons, and then you have your smashing weapon, and then you have dual wield. My nitpick is that I feel like this shouldn't be just two-handed maces, because that's the only thing you can slot in that one, is two-handed maces. But yeah, it's... I'll drink that just because, and I instantly got gloves, which is perfect, actually. Oh yeah, we got the gloves that match our current setup.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. I'm going to preemptively take this one, knowing that it's probably going to be the best one for me. On my main Barbarian, I was using Flay with the Thorns upgrade. Mostly because it gets around a massive problem this game. The big basic attack problem.
Not ready yet.
Which is, yeah, it does not like giving you AoE. Also, like, another nitpick I have is that circle is your dodge button. It is the dumbest thing, but it just bugs me a lot that it's your dodge instead. If only because it's not right stick like Diablo 3. Granted, I kind of understand it, like, you know, getting remapped just because of how the game, like, the dodge cooldown, I think it's fine, especially since they added the speed boost component. It definitely feels like it's intended to be a bigger part of the game, which I think is actually cool. But yeah, barbarians get chewed up in this game. But, oh well, that's just the nature of the class I'm playing. Isn't the vulnerable duration? I'm gonna switch over to double swing, actually. Damage is a stunned enemy. Or, you know what? We're just gonna switch over. I'm actually gonna show Flay. Was this the? Yeah. I was also using hammer. I might actually go back to upheaval. And I've got upheaval. Okay, this setup should be good. So, it doesn't kill individual enemies as fast, but that thorns. It definitely has an impact on the game. I will say that.
I must wait.
Those are going to be the best gear I have right now. So yeah, for barbarians specifically, like, I think letting the two-handed hammer be a smashing weapon So it's like, okay, you've got your hammer, but you've also got the axe there. So it's not just one type of weapon specifically. That's what I'm asking. Because currently, 3 weapons compete for the bladed slot. Because the axes go here along with polearms and great swords. Or two-handed swords. And then two-handed maces are on their own. It's like, please make that its own slot. Oh, I actually hit that guy. Or he might have gotten thorns. I don't know. But, yeah, this is the fastest... This is just surprisingly powerful as a basic attack because... It's like the only good AoE, I think. Because Frenzy doesn't have any. It's damage reduction while berserking. Generates more fury. Bash is just hitting a stunned enemy. Critically striking. Get a guaranteed overpower. And it can generate more fury. Lunging strike. Has a heal if it damages something. Can also bleed. And grants berserking. So, yeah, they're all single target. So the only AoE is combat play. And it's through frickin' thorns. Like, please give something better. Or, you know, actually useful, I should say. Because this is just ridiculous. It's... If only because, like, it doesn't... Because, in my opinion, it makes it so much slower. Especially when you're the class that actually relies on basic attacks more than anyone. It's just, you know, like, please, Blizzard, upgrade Barbarian's basic attacks. It's because you're guaranteed to need them starting many fights. Just some lag. Don't worry about it. You'll see lag. It's just the nature of this game. It's how it works. But here we are with the boss here. And hopefully I don't lose too much fury.
I must wait. I'm not ready yet.
There we go. Oh, and of course I get... Oh. I got relax. Okay. But here is Barbarian. So yeah, it's definitely got some issues starting off. Even on hard.
The old ruins are clear.
Lost souls! For all of you!
No. Oh, expertise is shown already. Huh. Was not expecting that.
You are blessed like us now.
So yeah, that was Barbarian. Overall, I think Barbarian, it's nothing special. It's probably the one I'm gonna probably, I don't know. I'm actually inclined to play it less than others. I think it's gonna be my last one, but that's just the nature of it. But one thing I will also say, they have the only support abilities that exist. Like, Rallying Cry, I think, is one of the only... Yeah, and Warcry. Like, I think those are two of the only abilities that I've seen that will affect your allies. Because I don't think... Yeah. Like, it's literally the only two buff your ally abilities in the game. And that's another nitpick I have. Where, like, even though it's an MMO, it has so much more multiplayer focus than any other game before it. And yet, it has the most, like, I kid you not, the most single-player focused character classes ever. Like, there's no holy class. It's just 5 classes that almost entirely care about themselves. The Barbarian has 2 abilities that buff your allies, but nobody else seems to. I have been playing with this, so I might go back to this one, though. Or I might actually try... I'll take this one. I haven't played with this ability yet. But you'll notice my health is dropping. But yeah, Rogue, at least I think it's in a slightly better place than Barbarian, but it's still pretty bad. Though I will say, it is the most fun to play. I just think it's got... It could be better, you know? Like, especially as you get later, like, there's one zone in the game where there's hordes everywhere. It's ridiculous. Not like these give much of anything, but it's something.
Another abandoned town. Demons everywhere.
Yeah. I will also say one more pet peeve I have, and this is going to be like the one story thing I mention.
What's it to you?
Come, I'll explain.
It's that there's no like intro from the character to like
There is evil staring
kind of explain just a little bit of their story. Granted, like, I get the idea that you're a blank slate protagonist, but I'd like at least a little lore on the character I'm playing. I think that would be fine. Let's go. I didn't use... I was using Puncture Arrow. I might... You know what, I'm gonna... Well, actually, we're gonna reset. I'm gonna go... this setup. This is different. I did use, Forceful a lot. Because it was... Oh, yeah. Just the vulnerable enemies. I was mostly using Piercing Arrow. Because it's my kind of skill. Oh. That feels weird compared to the Diablo 3 one. But I guess with the way Rogue works, the Diablo 3 version doesn't work. I'm actually gonna take this one. Just because this is so much fun. I adore this version. Oh, I got the knockback. Be gone, buddy. And it has no cooldown on knockback. See, at first I was using the piercing one, and then I went to the knockback, which I think is better on this one. Though ultimately I ended up going with this and Ricochet. Just because, yeah, AoE damage is always nice. Plus it actually has crit chance buffs. But oh, Jess. Yeah, Rogue, I think I don't honestly, my only critique with it is the AoE problem, which everyone has, but other than that, I think it's ultimately fine. Except maybe put the imbuement here and swap places with Subterfuge, just because it feels like this is supposed to be core to what the class is doing, yet you don't get it till like way later than it feels like it's supposed to be. So I don't know. That's like the one sticking point I have with the class. And then also, and this is just a general note, with the balance of stuff, I really, really hope they make it where there's rarely ever going to be something that's way more powerful compared to something else. But that's just a personal preference thing. This... Oh, that still knocks them back. I was not expecting it to knock them back still. Fortunately, those guys are surprisingly easy to kill. Try a barrage out for a bit. 'Cause I think rapid fire... Barrage is a 21%, 5 arrows. 24% damage per arrow. There's damage in a line. Yeah. Also, before I forget to mention it, Blizzard, please remove skill ranks. It's better than it was in Diablo 2, but I mean, oh, you can still knock down non-elite enemies. It's actually nice. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, and like with the skill rank change, I'd also say add more upgrades. Like add a second branch that so it's like, you know, you've got your initial skill, and then you've got your first branch, and then a second branch. You could also have it where there's more upgrades, too, to make it where, you know, instead of investing... Because you invest 7 points in a skill currently. It'd be nice to have, like, more branches to these. Just so it's like, oh, yeah, you've got 4 more branches. So there's ultimately 4 options for how your ability works, which offers more customization between characters and also allows for more nuance to an ability rather than just, in my opinion, lazily adding points to the one skill. But yeah, and then also another side note I'm really quickly going to point out. Shadow imbuement. Oh my gosh, that hits hard. Also, I think I want to say I feel like imbue skills should be 3. Charges instead of 2. The 2, I just feel like I've barely gotten to do anything with it. It's actually surprising how much easier my life is with the right skill. But that is another nitpick that I will give this. I should not feel like my... chances with a particular class is heavily dependent, or like purely dependent on taking certain skills. Like, all the skills should feel viable, and it shouldn't feel like if you want to go a certain way, then you have to take this. And that's specifically because if you're going to make it where players want to stick on one character and have this idea that, you know, you can't easily swap skills out, and each skill spent is a genuine cost that you're gonna pay, then it should be to where there's never a stinker in your build. So this is also gonna be cursed as heck with barrage. At the very least. Okay, let's go. Boom. So it's okay, but let's continue. Back in Nevesk.
You've returned.
The old ruins.
Lost souls, all of you.
Ooh. Oh, that actually doesn't look half bad. Oh yeah, we're gonna take.
Need more energy.
You are blessed like us now.
That was all of them. Night will.
So yeah, this class is I personally enjoy it, especially with piercing arrow over barrage or rapid fire, but it's still marred by that lack of AoE. Also, I feel like swap them, please. So we're gonna head over to Sorcerer now. Exit now. I feel like, oh my, yeah. I will say I have noticed on occasion that it will quit instantly. Shaller. We're gonna go challenge.
Sanctuary was never meant for human. I should
Yeah.
find better shelter before I.
I've mostly been using Spark. Supposedly Arc Lash is overpowered a sec, which 35%, 8%, 10% and 40, so 50% net. 42%. We're gonna go with this one. At the very least with these, they always put the AoE here. But it's like a chance to explode. Oh, and it's also on shield enemies. And it's a chance to spark off, which I think that's actually the most effective. And then this one, it pierces through burning enemies, so you already have to hit them. It's like, I feel like they could just make Frostbolt explode every time. Just so it's like... And also have that baseline, it explodes. Like, it doesn't have to do... Like, it could be like 30% base and then 15% weapon damage for the explosion. Or it's... I don't know, but... I think that works out well. Just to make it where you're always able to AoE. And Firebolts, I guess, just make it burn the nearby enemies. So it, like, hits for 20% direct. And then burns 20%. but that's on everything around it too. I think that would work out well. Spark, just give it the jump innately, and it always jumps for half the damage per hit.
When the storm has passed.
Yeah. Also, weird balancing nitpick, but charge bolts actually hit way lower than chain lightning. It's like 5 bolts for 17. It was actually almost 100%. That's like 5 enemies in chain lightning. It's a bunch of people. But ultimately, we're going frost magic. But I do like chain lightning. I think that's really fun.
Abandoned hell.
Everywhere. Fangs in the dark. He bit me.
But
Careful. He's a wild one.
What's it to you?
Come. I'll explain.
probably could have done this like as without the extra ability points, but I'm using them just because I have them.
That poor monk back there must have gone inside. Even though
That's
all
mostly
men
because
like
I
him
don't
must
have
even
time
wait
to
for whatever he saw.
do something special.
Could you protect us?
You got an ability point. I'm gonna try Ice Flare. I've seen a lot of people use Frozen Orb. I'm not going to use it because I want to try this one out. Oh, it's like a rapid fire. I'm not a fan of that, actually. I feel like that should be a shotgun. Yeah, I'm gonna go... What's Incinerate like? Guess we will use Frozen Orb.
I'm not ready yet. That gets us this one. Oh, makes the explosion more powerful. I need time to prepare that.
Yeah. Also, I will point this out. There's a few abilities that increase your capacity with a resource. I think here's one. Yeah, 3 for a total of 9. When like stuff costs like 40, 30, 35, 40, 40, 20 per second. It's like, what's the point of that? Like, what's the point of having 9 more mana? Like, that's not even a full 10. It's just... I feel like there's some refinement that needs to be done. And I will say this, but... Sorry, Necromancer fanboys, but I think your class should not be here. Because I really feel like there should be a holy class here with the multiplayer stuff. Now, take that with a grain of salt, as I'm playing in the most single-player segment in the game, but... And then also, self-healing is, yeah. There's not a lot of it. I think also, like, there should be some abilities that help your allies in this. It's like, none of these help your allies. This doesn't help your allies. These don't help your allies. It does have a self-heal, which is probably the best option. Just because, yeah, self-healing. On an ability that doesn't always have much, but... It's certainly, like... It's slow on this class. It's... Like, the basic 3 have some trouble. But... Level 4, yay. I'm actually gonna full reset and we're gonna go pyromancy. Mana on hitting burning enemy. Go to this setup. Yeah, I used all of them. I mean, it's not half bad.
I need time to prepare.
I will also mention this. I feel like our class should not be as good as it is. Specifically for the class that's, like, supposed to be an expert at ranged combat, it feels kind of wrong to me. The fireball also does not feel like it hits hard at all. It's not bad with the piercing, but I still like think it's like, and actually I'm going to mention this. Fire piercing feels like, it feels like fire should like spread and explode, not pierce. Like, I think they should just leave piercing to cryomancy. But that's just me. Though I do like how dots tend to stack in this game. But Probably more aggressive with my resources here. I got him mid-resurrection. No res for you. There we go. I also wish there was... I had a pet right now. Because picking up gold is such a problem. Oh, Fireball's expensive. And it hits soft. Dang, that's only 60% damage? Dang. I guess it's supposed to be your big AoE skill. And I guess you gotta get the upgrade to make it hit a bit harder. Directly. Always going here. Let's see if that's better armor, which it is. Ooh, Fiendish Folio. Strength versus lucky at chance. Actually, that's gonna be better because it gives me armor. Which, yeah. I do have some interest in the stat system, though I do feel like they need to add something just because strength, for the most part, it's kind of useless on most classes except Barbarian, where it's your damage. But I feel like they need to give it something of its own. Like, kind of have a fifth thing that will happen. Like, maybe make it overpower. Like, have a chance for overpower. Have that based off one of your stats. And then for most classes it would be strength, but then it's something else for barbarians. Let's see how this boss goes. This is gonna be bad. Because I feel like this is even slower than my previous attempt. First equip this. and then see about this, which, yeah, it is actually better. Like, way better. I'm gonna have to just see about this. Because I have a feeling that's gonna shred. Let's go fight the villagers, because they betray us. But I do actually kind of like this intro. It's
The old ruins are
an interesting one. That's a surprisingly good chest plate.
You are blessed like us now.
That was all of light willing.
But yeah, I just feel like there's definitely some. That one definitely feels like one of the worst ones starting out, but it gets better at least. You're able to do really good damage, but you have issues getting started. Tadeg. Let's go with the druid, which this is the second best one in my opinion.
For humankind.
And to summarize,
Find better shelter before
for one, they are the most versatile class in the game, and two, Claw and Earth Spike are the only skills that don't seem to multi-target. I've been using Wind Shear a lot, and it is actually amazing, because it hits in a line and hits a bunch of people. Storm Strike looks great. Maul looks decent. So we're going to go Werebear stuff. You're going to be a bear. And we're going to be tanky. Yeah, this is... While Mon is good as what's next, it's still surprisingly good. Because, yeah.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah. Also, another note I'll give. I feel like maybe druids or barbarians should be able to use shields. Just because no one else is able to use them. It's just the necromancer. And I feel like there should be someone else able to use them. Barbarian would be my first suggestion. Just as a...
Another abandoned town.
it fits
Everywhere.
what they're,
In the dark.
like,
He bit me!
Careful.
warrior side would, like, prefer.
What's it to you?
Come, I'll explain.
But, I don't know, it's just... I feel like druids could use them too, but...
That poor monk back there must have gone inside. driven mad by whatever he saw. Could you
And now we get Pulverize, which hits everyone around you. And knockdown, ranged radius. I do like how random objects nearby still give you spirit if you hit them. It's very useful.
Should clear up when the storm is past.
But yeah, Druid, so much better than Barbarian. I'm not joking. It's
I'm not ready yet.
oh, it's so nice. I'm actually gonna go over. I'm gonna swap over to Storm Strike, and we're gonna go Cyclone or Tornado because normally I've been using Lightning Strike, which I think I have a very specific nitpick with it, which is it costs 15 per strike. And it has a max channel of 5. I feel like you just don't have enough time at the max sort of build up to where it's just like I feel like I've just gotten to the height and then it stops. It's like I just feel like it's not doing as much as I'd like it to. And Tornado also has a minor issue that it has a tendency to not do much. Just because if you're ranged, it doesn't do much because it starts off slow and then gets going to other enemies or targets, but it's just an oddly specific issue it has.
I'm not ready yet.
But one thing you'll notice though, Druid has the most abilities that have innate AoE out of anyone. Like 3 of them, by default, have some amount of AoE. Wind Shear, Storm Strike, and Maul. Claws and Earth Spike don't, but I feel like Earth Spike should affect like an area. Or maybe even have a different animation, because I kid you not, like, no. Take that away, just so I can cast this. Oh. It helps when I map the ability because it doesn't auto map on this. But like, look at the, oh. Yeah. Like, it summons it from the ground, which, like, it's cool. It's like how most of them work, but I feel like its animation should be like you launch it instead. Just because this version, I kind of lose track of it, you know. Oh yeah, it also helps when I map this back to what it should be. Oh gosh, that's satisfying. Surprisingly satisfying for breaking objects. But yeah, I also feel like that jumping, I don't know, I feel like it doesn't jump far enough. Like, it has to be very close to chain. But I've shown enough of this. Let's show my preferred ability. Set. 3 additional spirit. Pretty hit. And then I can also show lightning strike. Yeah, like, I cast it like 5 times and it's done. Like, seriously? Like, I feel like it's just too expensive. If I'm only getting like 5 casts out of it, or like 6, I think, maybe. Because I think Spirit starts at 100, and then 15, that'd be... So yeah, I think you do get about 6 casts at full. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. You get 6 casts out of it, which just does not feel like enough, but anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot how, one moment, I need to upgrade my skill because it's missing something I'm used to. Yeah, this is a lot better for AoE. Just always piercing. One-ups the Firebolt sorcerers get. Though that one does actually hit harder, but... This is so much better. Especially when you find, like, swarmer enemies. This just... There's no comparisons. It's ridiculous. But, yeah. Oh yeah, and also, one thing about Druid, they have a self-heal. Like the one class with the default self-heal. Also, wolves are the... Also, another side note. Vine Creeper and Raven. They just aren't cool. Like, the wolves, you see them constantly around you. Except in towns, actually, which is weird. But... And it's even weirder because necromancers get their skeletons in town. Why can't I have my wolves in town? They're pets. Like, come on. Why would you let necromancers have their skeletons everywhere? But I can only have my wolves when I'm not in town? Like, please. But the ravens in Vine Creeper, I think... It should be a lot more obvious you have them. Like, maybe have, like, ravens flying around you, or, like, a raven circling around overhead when you've got that active, and then Vine Creeper, I don't know, maybe, I feel like Vine Creeper, I just don't see it as much. which is a big shame. But yeah, it's oh yeah, and then also that, like, I've only noticed that where an enemy's like right on top of me and I can't damage it. I've only noticed that on Druid with Wind Shear. It's the weirdest thing. Also, there's occasionally like collision bugs. It's beta stuff. It's not... I expect that to be fixed upon release, but... oh well. But... yeah, and actually think about it. Another, like, critique I'd give, specifically to Druid, make this upgrade it starts with one more. So it starts at 2 and still goes up to 5. Or just make it where it always has an extra, so it goes from 2 to 5 to 2 to 6 instead of 1 to 5 or 1 to 6. Yeah, also, another request. Please bring back the button priority to be, because in Diablo 3, it would be like, whenever you press a button, it cares more about what you pressed second. When you're pressing, like, multiple ability buttons in quick succession. It's a very specific nitpick, but I would like if, while I'm holding down the button for my basic and then hit the button for my core ability, which usually it's going to be X and square respectively, that it would always prioritize square if I hit it second. And vice versa, of course, but yeah, it's just a little critique. That I would like fixed a lot. Like, it's actually minus, oh, yeah, it's -9 now. Good. Magic Totem. I was actually using this one.
All of them. Light willing.
But now, okay, let's go to the menace itself. So yeah, seeing those characters, they have issues, but they're always playable. And it's still playable. That should be noted. Like, it's not unplayable if you don't pick certain stuff, but Necromancer, I think, I don't know what Blizzard's thinking with this one. Because, yeah, this class, I think, should not have as good a selection of basic attacks as they do. So, you've got a cleave in your melee ability Reap, which is actually a surprisingly low damage, but it does also increase damage reduction, which is actually surprisingly good. Decompose, yeah, 30% damage per second. And then every 2.5 seconds it creates a free corpse, which, yeah. And then Hemorrhage just does damage, can spawn blood orbs, which heal you. So you get extra healing. And then also it has Fortify, which, yeah, that's pretty powerful. And then there's Bone Splinters, which, yeah, this is surprisingly powerful in this game. Because it's innately AoE. And its upgrade is to have a chance to spawn even more. And they start with the ability to raise skeletons, which... yeah, let's get the army going. And now we don't really have to worry about anything because, yeah. These guys don't seem to die. I've never seen one die. Then again, I haven't tried to solo a stronghold, but you can also buff them. And it'll also heal them when you do that. But, yeah, it's, I haven't even taken damage yet. That's how powerful this class is right now. And I will say, like, I feel like if they're gonna have the army to start with, and have, like, the army be as big as they have it right now, make it where Bone Splinters, nerf it to be only 1 dart, and then the upgrade is you have 3. Lower Decomposes damage a little bit. Reap, I think, is fine. For what it is, I think it works. And Hemorrhage, not sure what to do with it, but just make sure its damage is not too high. But, yeah, like...
Everywhere. Fangs in the dark.
And, you know, the reason I say they kind of need the weakest basic attacks is if you're going to have the army active, like, all the time, then you probably shouldn't, like, you don't have to worry about AoE as much or having good basic attacks because you've got the army to help you. Like, your active abilities being powerful, that I think should be expected, and it works really well. But we're gonna take, and these just want to see what Reap looks like. Or Sever. It might be cool. Yeah. It's about what I expected from that ability. Blight looks cool enough. It's a bit too much of a dot damage thing for me, but that's just my preferences. Yeah, not a fan of this one. I gotta say, Bloodlance, I think that's a cool one. It's just kind of weird to play around with. But, yeah. Still never taken damage. But I think you can kind of understand the issues with this class. And actually, I'm gonna change things up and take its upgrade. The upgrade for Bone Spear, because it actually has a kind of weird one, but I actually think it's kind of cool. It's like, you launch it, it explodes when it hits a wall, and it launches shards backwards. It's kind of a neat one. Like, I think it's a cool idea. But make sure my buddies are healed, as always, because they make my life so much easier. Yeah. Dang. Yeah, this is definitely the class for solo play. And also, this is actually the only other class that has some abilities that help your allies with the curses. Take the focus, because it adds a lot more damage. I don't know why they're able to use them, but they can. Also, there's only 2 curses. But they did mix in curses, so I think Iron Maiden makes it, kind of gives you a life tap, and Decrepify can give you the execution one. So I definitely think if you're gonna have just two, the way they've made it work, I think is definitely good. Thank you. I can casually ignore every enemy in the game. I'm gonna take... that one, I guess. It's gonna be good for the boss, especially. First time I took damage, and it was AoE damage. Yeah, yeah, I also think the Fortify on Hemorrhage is kind of superfluous. Albeit, I think it'd be better if it was, if they had, like, a life tap ability to some of your blood skills. Where you've got, like, you're actually paying life for stuff. I think that'd make him... make it play better without being busted. Because Necromancer does not need more survivability. Well, unless you're playing a build that sacrifices your minions. In which case that would actually be more useful, but... I also think Earth Spike should have this animation, or something like it, where you're, like, drawing bones from the ground. I think it'd look a bit cooler. Where it's like, you summon it from the ground and then launch it out to hit somebody. I think that'll look cooler for it. Yeah. And then also, size of life per kill, which, once again, did Necromancers have to be made ridiculously survivable beyond all belief? Like, I feel like Scythes should also have a nerf to where they don't have life per kill as their innate ability. I think it should be essence per kill instead. To kind of keep with the theme of, like, oh, you want to kill stuff with it, but make it where it's not absolutely busted. Yeah, that was easy. this is. Yep, that's actually better. Oh, and it has basic skill damage. Which, yeah, it's incredibly powerful on this class. It's incredibly powerful in general, I found. But, Druid and Barbarian, I think, won it the most.
You've returned.
The old ruins are
Lost souls! For all of you!
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot more damage. And that's still more. Okay.
You are blessed like us now.
Huh. She doesn't spawn a corpse.
Light willing.
Yeah, but anyway. This has been Diablo 4. Or at least, like, the introduction to each. I will say I haven't done everything in the game, but I hope this has given some of my thoughts on kind of the nitpicks with the game. As ultimately, I think it's a great game. It's just, it could be better if it was like, remove the skill ranks for more upgrades. Maybe also make it where you can have, you know, if we're not supposed to be able to swap skill points out, maybe have it where you can get both of the upgrades, but then swap them out. So, like, you invest all your points in a branch, but, yeah. I will say, there's also, I'm going to add in a little thing talking about some ideas I had for how to do skill ranks, but I hope you've enjoyed this. Because I've certainly enjoyed playing more Diablo 4. Like, any excuse is a good excuse, in my opinion. Any other thoughts closing out? I don't think there's anything else too big. But, oh, well, actually, wait, one thing. Please don't make Corpse Explosion the most overpowered skill. Also, maybe move this to be later, because I feel like it shouldn't be there. And again, they don't really need defensive skills, but I feel like it's just meh. I just have a vendetta against Corpse Explosion being overpowered, just because it's like, it takes away from everything else, in my opinion, where you've got, like, you kill one enemy and then everything else dies. But anyway, I'm gonna swap over to leave the game, and we're gonna end on my rogue. But yeah, also you make characters look cool. They definitely have gone out of their way with the art style, I will say that. But anyway, without further ado, this has been my thoughts on Diablo 4. At least with some initial stuff. Not gonna go too much into the story. Well, that actually reminds me. The Jewel Crafter. Why the heck does it cost so much to unsocket my stuff? Also, yeah, I'm gonna open him up real quick because I just remembered. There is a nitpick I have that I can't really show on them because it's on my rogue, but I do not like how gemstones take up slots in your main inventory. it's a gemstone. It should not be in the same tab as equipment. Like, give gems their own tab, please. Like, we have one for consumables. We have one for quest stuff. We have one for aspects. Give gems their own tab, please. They clog up your inventory too much as it is. Like, heck, it could even be like the quest tab, and it actually has less slots in it. But anyway, overly specific nitpick over. Yeah. Anyway, without further ado, see y'all next time. HaloZoo out.